While the Pentagon is drawing up plans to hit ISIS militarily, the Treasury Department is involved in projects to wound ISIS financially by disrupting the money flows. This could be the Achilles heel for ISIS. The problem for diplomats, though, is that some of that money may be flowing through the hands of our supposed allies. Big problem. For details, we turn to Emanuele Ottolenghi, Foundation for Defense of Democracy's senior fellow. First of all, just to give me an impression of the president's speech last night. What did you think?
Good to be with you. I thought the president did a reasonably good job at telling us what the United States will do. What was missing from that speech was the vision thing. I mean, here we are 13 years after 9/11. The enemy is the same. It is an ideology that rejects every value of Western civilization and does so very violently. Whether it's called the Islamic State or Hamas or Hezbollah or Boko Haram, it doesn't matter. We're dealing with an ideology that hates the West and our way of life.
Absolutely.
And that is what's missing from the speech. He's confronting a small organization of media-savvy sociopaths, but he's not talking about what it is that this organization believes in and why this is part of a much broader problem.
Okay, let's talk about their money flows and how they move money and how we could possibly disrupt that. First of all, which countries were involved actually enabling ISIS before they got hold of Iraq oil? Who gave them money in the beginning?
You know, ISIL, or the Islamic State, as they call themselves now, is a congregation of numerous extreme violent jihadis coming from a variety of places. They draw volunteers, much like the international brigades did in Spain in the 1930s, from all over the world. They were enabled, first of all, physically to get there by neighboring states, but first and foremost by Turkey. A lot of these people go through Turkey. Turkey has a very long border with Syria, and so you can't expect that border to be completely sealed, but Turkey should do a lot more. Financially, they have been getting aid from private donors in the Gulf, but also getting a lot of political support from some of the Gulf countries.
All right, one in particular that I've heard of, and I got to speed you along here because we're running out of time, but one is Qatar, or Qatar, however you pronounce it, that they specifically have been giving money because they want to avoid any terrorist attacks in their own country. They have a lot of financial interest in the United States. $600 million project in Washington, D.C., just as one of billions of money they put in the U.S. Here we're putting financial pressure on Russia. These guys are killing Americans on video. Can't we put economic pressure on Qatar for what they've been doing?
We can put a lot of economic pressure. This is a tiny kingdom in the middle of the Gulf. It has a population of 250,000 citizens, although it has enormous natural resources, natural gas in particular, which feed into its wealth. But it is a country that functions because it has millions of foreign workers with very little rights. Qatar has been bizarrely awarded the Soccer World Cup of 2022.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There are horror stories about how they're, enslaving foreign workers to build the country for that occasion. So there is a lot of financial pressure that can be done, put on Qatar. There are, Qatar hosts the biggest air base for the United States in the region. That base can be moved. A lot of military gear is being sold to Qatar from the United States. Contracts can be reviewed. There are many ways that pressure can be put
Emanuele,
on those countries.
Unfortunately, we're just about out of time, but we've got to talk about the movement of money. This is real. This is the Achilles heel of drug dealers, of terrorists. There was a bank called BCCI that was shut down back in the 90s because of the way they were moving money around. Are these Islamic banks that have sprouted up all over, even in the United States, is that one of the ways that ISIS is moving money around? And if so, how can we disrupt that flow?
Well, a lot of the money is being moved around in the old-fashioned way by courier suitcase in cash.
I see.
But the bottom line of these organizations is that they triangulate and use intermediate transit points. So there will be a lot of small banks involved in moving money around in a way that the trail becomes obfuscated.
Okay, and I got to ask quickly, the ISIS oil, who is buying that oil?
Again, it's going through smugglers and middlemen in the area, both Iraqis and Turks most likely. It is being smuggled by truck. But that's the Achilles heel, I think, because you can't move $15 million a month worth of fuel from Iraq and eastern Syria into Turkey and neighboring places without leaving a paper trail.
Gotcha. Emanuele Ottolenghi, thank you very much from the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. It's good to see you. Please come back.
Thank you for having me.